podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
Shows, I can't believe it. Wow, son of a gun. And here I go to Savage Worlds. I'm a naughty boy. Hiya, folks. THACO's Hammer. This is show number 105. I am DM Glen, live from Game HQ in Oklahoma City. I have a Magic tournament going on behind me and a couple of Pathfinder games and a few D&D things. And also with me is DM Full-On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation, both on the internet and there, lurking behind Brian.
Look behind you, Brian. Yeah, he's looking behind him. And this is DM Brian here.
How'd you get in my house?
DM Corey can't... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No. DM Corey can't be with us this time. He's got a little problem at home, so not that kind of problem.
No.
But, no, it's just something you have to take care of. And like I said, I'm here at Game HQ, and I would like to thank Ron Palamentary, the owner, and Brian Doherty, one of the clerks here, who helped me set this up. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, because my house is internet dead, because we just had a tornado yesterday.
Yeesh.
So here we are. Anyway, so much for my hard luck. Let's go on to hits and crits.
Well?
One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
So?
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. Looks like it's all hits and crits this time. What you guys been doing lately, huh?
Well,
Anybody?
Well, let's see. I actually took a break from Marvel Heroes for a while. And I've just...
Really?
Yeah, really, believe it or not. But, yeah, I've been making up for it because, let's see. Elite Dangerous came out over the forced hiatus we were put on because, well, if I didn't have something going on, one of us had something going on. We just couldn't make it work for, oh God, what, almost a month.
One of us must die.
Yeah, well, that's kind of not funny. But yeah,
Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's all right. But yeah, I mean, I got Elite Dangerous. I've been playing that. That's, giving me 30-year flashbacks and whatnot. And I just bought Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
You'll get over it. It's not like Nom.
No, it's not. Fortunately, Elite Dangerous is nowhere near as
And how about you, Full-On? What's up?
I got done with my advanced recon back to the new Homestead area in North Carolina. Played Car Wars, the live game, getting there and back in a magnificent hurry. And I'm here starting to work on the pack out to get ready to move. And still playing the Old Republic.
Still playing the
and
Old
waiting
Republic.
to play Marvel, of course, and waiting to play Marvel.
Yes, I know.
He'll be playing Tor on the way. There.
Yeah, he'd find a way to make it work too. Just get a strong enough mobile hotspot. He'd be able to pull it off, I'm sure.
Brought to you by McDonald's. Wi-Fi.
Their Wi-Fi is that good that you can do that?
I've played the Old Republic and WoW on McDonald's Wi-Fi. And
Really?
I've podcasted.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I never knew. Wow.
Yeah, that's another story. Well, let's see. We've had a couple of 50 Fathoms games, and the climax of the current game went well. They got to fight a pirate, his crew, a few of his crew, and a bunch of pirate zombies in the middle of a cave. And some of the highlights, well, one of my favorite highlights is the fact that my friend Matt, who plays a pirate, almost got his head blown off by a cannonball. Well, I had this trap in the cave. All it was this cave room with a trapdoor.
Uh-huh.
And, okay, who wants to check trapdoor? Okay, fine. I said, fine, nothing wrong with it. Nothing. Okay, open the trapdoor. Underneath, they found this, dugout area with a small chest in the middle.
Uh-huh.
I pull out the chest.
Yeah.
That's the trigger. I said, you better make an agility roll, son. Okay, I made it. Okay, you didn't get up all the way, but this on the one wall, this other door flew open. There was a cannon there and blew a cannonball right above your head.
Jeez.
And planted itself in the wall. What's in the chest? Nothing.
Yep, of course. That's how
And
you're
then another
supposed
guy
to do
went.
it.
The guy with the notice roll went over and said, "This thing's gold." What? This cannonball? What? Yeah, it's gold.
Cannonball made of gold. Wow.
Yeah, it almost took your head off too. You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, technically, I know gold is a soft metal, but I'm thinking it's like gold plated.
Uh-huh.
So, and they made off with some loot. They have enough to get off the rock with the skiff and go buy themselves a regular ship.
Uh-huh.
So you can go pillage and plunder, and everybody is having a ball with that game.
Nothing wrong with that.
So that's me. So when I said it's all hits and crits this time, we got an email show, folks.
Yeah.
And we're all three of us are going to read some emails. So why don't we just get to it? You start, Brian.
Okay, I've got one from a new emailer to the show, DM Soulhawk.
Hi, Soulhawk. How you doing?
Okay.
Greetings, Soulhawk.
He says, "Hey guys, DM Soulhawk here. First off, thanks for the show. Second edition is the edition I've run nothing else for over the past 20 years. Rock on. That said, I have a confession.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I've always played the second edition game using the first edition monster manuals. Secretly, I like the art better, and at the time, I didn't want to deal with pages and pages of hole punch stuff. But as the years
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because there's not, with the exception of a few, there's not that much difference. But let me finish. But as the years have gone on, I just get this nagging feeling every time I look at the shelf at my second edition collection, and I yearn for a purer form of the game I love. Okay. So I still feel the same way about not wanting to goof around with hole punch pages, but at the same time, I abhor the idea of any kind of a hole in my collection. Man, this guy is pretty hardcore. My question is this. If I get the second edition Monstrous Manuals, the hardbound books, will I have all the same content that was originally in the Monstrous Compendium and the hole punch appendices that followed it? No. Or would I be missing monsters that were only published in that format? Yes. Please let me know, and also please tell me the names of all the hardbound Monstrous Manuals for second edition. Thanks for guiding me on the true path, DM Soulhawk.
Well, did he say he's just using the monster manual from first? Just the one book?
He's using the one e-book. So it's the Monster Manual 2, Fiend Folio, Classic Monster Books.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought he was just using the monster manual, the first book.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the 3 books, yeah, those are golden. Those are great.
Yeah.
Those are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Alternately, yes, you can use the Monstrous Manual, which is the hardback book. All the other books are not hardback, but they are bound. They are the
they do have
one.
Yeah,
they have the annuals. They have the appendixes.
Yeah, annuals and appendixes.
Yeah.
They are published.
Now they do have.
What?
They do have a Fiend Folio appendix.
Correct.
Which is
all
the Fiend Folio converted to 2E.
Yep. I mean, let's put it this way. Yeah, if you're using just the Monstrous Manual, you are missing out on a lot. I would suggest somehow, some way, and I'm not saying this to be snarky, but you should get over. No, actually, I'm not. You really should get over this. This obsession you have over not having holes punched in your papers. I mean, I have the Monstrous Manual, and 80% of the time that's what I use. But if I really want to dig deep into stuff, because I've got Monstrous Compendium 1, Monstrous Compendium 2, Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, all 3 versions, Outer Planes, Karator / Oriental Adventures, Fiend Folio. When the Fiend Folio one came out, I was like, oh hell yeah, for sure, because that was a great little supplement. But you're missing out on a lot by wanting a quote unquote pure form of the game.
And if you want to go back to basic, if you get, if you remember the old creature catalog for the Rule Cyclopedia,
yep,
a lot of good monsters in there. Get the Mystara Appendix for 2E, because that is the entire creature catalog converted to 2nd edition.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, I mean, it's let's put it this way. I mean, and there's another way you can go, even though it's not quote unquote legal. Someone actually made something called the Monstrous Collection, and
It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. Just run a search for it, and you can find it. And that has pretty much almost
Also-
every monster from basic all the way through, or excuse me, from all the in 2nd edition format, all the monsters that came out
From
from
the
2nd edition.
from the core on.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And even then, working with just the books that were published after they went away from the binder, if you want just the books, you get the books, Monstrous Manual, plus the various annuals, all 4 of them, plus the regional supplements and annuals and stuff that came out. The rest of the monster data that's missing, quote unquote, from all that was published in all the assorted special boxes for Planescape and for Forgotten Realms and everything else that possibly had anything, and they came out with a little, paper-bound standard book that looks just like every other annex or appendix, and that's where your other monsters are, and you'll have almost all of them anyway. It's a very few that never got crossed over.
Yeah.
And if you want more, you can go. If you remember Mayfair's Rolaids line for like 1E, they did the Demons box sets. They come with monstrous compendium pages of the different demons that you can use in those books, in those binders.
Yeah, there's another.
So there's those too. Also, if you want to look online, aside from the Monstrous Collection, if you just want to look up real fast, you want to, I can't remember the name of the page, but they took the Monstrous Collection and dumped it on a website that's searchable.
Oh, really? I
It's
didn't
all
know that.
2E.
I did not know that.
Yeah, the 2E Monstrous Manual online. Yeah, it's alphabetized, and you can pull it. You can easily pull it up. People are crazy out there.
Yes, they are.
An additional option would be your AD&D Core Rules 2.0 CD set with all the monsters and all the supplements and all the downloads that you can get, which are legal to get for free.
Yeah. And nice thing about that is you can either use their you can use the CD as itself, or you can open the CD and get them as books like as PDFs.
Correct. For sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there are other alternatives rather than going that route. I mean, nowadays, I mean, I think drivethrurpg.com, they sell a lot of the supplements in PDF. That's probably the better way to go, so you don't have to deal with that, and you can still just print out X, Y, and Z for your game if you need to. So there's another alternative. I mean, there are plenty of alternatives. Just just do your homework a little.
Right.
Excuse me.
Well, thank you, Hogfather. What was his name?
Soul Hawk.
Thank you, Soul Hawk.
Yeah, or should I say
From
Saul?
us.
Okay. Anyway.
All right. Let me do the next one.
Go right ahead, Glenn.
This one is from, I'm going to do the second one first. DM Tim, a.k.a. the Dungeon Dude. He says, hail and well met. I just want to say I love the show. I'm an old school player who's been playing off and on since the late 70s, and 2E has always been my favorite addition to DM and Play. It's good to find a podcast like-minded players. It's good to listen at work, and it helps my day go faster. You're welcome. I'm currently running a 2E Homebrew campaign for a few friends and their teenage kids. Wow, I feel old. Trying to teach them old school gaming at its best. I use the 3 core rule books, and that's about it. And I try not to crack the books open except for looking up spells if I can help it. Put on the glasses, Glenn. I got a question and a couple of comments. The question, how do you use dungeon maps in your game? Well, you put them down on the table.
Talk about snarky.
Although I've been playing for years, I can't recall seeing anyone really discuss this. Do you draw the map for your players a little bit at a time as they explore, or do you make the players map it themselves and slow the session down as you describe everything in your players square by square? I tried both ways. Both are kind of unsatisfactory. If I draw it myself, my art skills are kind of basic and crude, but at least it's quick. You haven't seen mine. If I make the players do it, I found that it slows things down and makes game lose momentum. How DMs use the big pre-generator maps like Undermountain, I have no idea. So the vast labyrinthine that I don't see how either method would work well. Well, to tell you the truth, I've seen it done both ways. The make the players map it drives me nuts.
Yeah, me too.
On either side of the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt used to do it, and Brad used to be the mapper. Okay, one more square over, and then to the left. Okay, go up. You know, it's like, and as far as like, we have a battle map out there. I mean, Matt likes to use he makes his own 3D, things. I just okay, you're here, and I only sketch out so much. Okay, you're going here, I'll sketch out a little more. I don't mind doing that. I don't think that slows down the game. As far as my art talent, you know what my art talent is, but just not for that. I just want to get it quick and dirty down there.
Right.
Now, I use blue dungeon tiles, too, which is great because I can do stuff like pre-set up the map the night before at home. I did this with 50 Fathoms. I set up the cave before. I drew up everything, and you can leave it on there as wet erase or dry erase. Well, wet erase, and it won't go anywhere. I lettered the pieces so I could put it together later, and then I took a picture of it, and I printed that out.
There you go.
So I could know who, what, where, how.
Yep. I mean, go ahead, Glenn.
And as far as our talent, you don't need much. I mean, here's the table.
Yeah,
here's 3 chairs.
Yeah. You don't need to be you don't have to have the art skills of Diesel of Force. You just
exactly. You don't have to be Errol Otis to do this.
Exactly. I mean, go ahead.
I'm for drawing it out as they go along.
Well, let's see. In my recent experience in Hammers of the Duchy, the first how many? Yeah, the first 10 to 11 sessions when you're on the first floor of the monastery, I had full on draw it out. And
I remember that.
Yeah, and if you go back and listen, you can hear, full on and I, going back and forth, and is it like this? No, it's like that. Is it like this? No, let me draw it. Things like that.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
That was me talking back to him.
Yeah, exactly. But when you guys went down to the second level, I said I don't want to go through this again because it was fun the first time, but it was kind of frustrating as a DM. It made the sessions longer than necessary. So
it did.
Yeah, I basically just scanned the maps into PDF and I imposed them onto. We use Roll20, to full disclosure. We use Roll20 as our.
Wrong with that.
As our gaming platform. So we'll be using it again for Marvel because they actually have Marvel character sheets, ready to go, which is cool. So what I did is superimposed them on the map, tried to get the map scale to the grid scale as close as I could, and then just did Fog of War for the whole thing for the next 2 levels, and that seemed to work a little bit better. So, I've started one way and I went the other way, and it actually kind of, helped out, I think.
You want to hear an even more arduous way?
What's that?
When I was playing online with the rest, when it was Save or Die, playing with a DM, I forget what module we're going through, but he would have the map, and he would, okay, this is what the place looks like, and he'd email us the map right there.
Are you serious? Oh my God. Wow. Yeah.
It's yeah, because we didn't have Roll20 or anything like that, so I'm just going to email the map to you every day. Here's the second level. He sends the email to everybody.
Wow.
Oh boy, talk about a lot of work. How about you, Falon? How do you do it?
I
He's
do it
waiting.
lots of different ways, and it all depends on the medium that you're using to game with. They've been talking about the trials and tribulations of Roll20 and mapping as you go, uploading your map into the background or whatever you're going to do like that. Okay, that's the internet world for mapping. Whatever it's going to be is going to be. Over-the-table role-playing, on the other hand, you have several options, and all of them are useful depending on the game style that you're playing and what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Simple one is, like Glenn was talking about, here's the battle mat. I got some wet markers. I'm going to draw as it happens, and it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, we run off the map, we wipe it off, and we just keep going on.
Yep.
If
Exactly.
anybody wanted to keep a personal map for the party and actually map everything that was going on, that's on them to choose to do so or not.
Full on.
And if they have the time to pay attention to what's going on front of them where the miniatures are, they might take the time to do that, but that's on them to choose to do that. And I don't slow the game down waiting for them
You don't
to get
penalize
it right.
them for not doing it?
I don't penalize them for not doing that. It just turns into a case of if they were not maintaining a map and someone, say, gets hit with a fear spell,
It runs
I
off
say
the
they run, and I'm going to come to them and say, left, right, straight. Which one do you pick? Go. Left, right. Which one do you pick? Go. Straight, right. Which one do you pick? Go.
map.
And
That's the
if they
best
can't
way to
keep track
handle a
of where
fear
they
spell.
are in the dungeon, that's on them, and that's the point of things like scare and fear and the, Death Knight you just found around the corner and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and Dragon Fear and other things like that.
Yep.
And all the other wonderful things that cause loss of player control to go madly rampaging through the dungeon into all kinds of different rooms.
Mummies.
And find pit traps and whatnot.
Yep.
But that's the fast and dirty. You can also, I've done this a lot, I went and got a bunch of whiteboards. And instead of drawing grids on them, I drew 1-inch dot grids. So you can make any kind of map you want, and it's not detracted from by the lines, but you can see your mapping functions, because I'm really big into miniatures. That's what I love to do. Scaling back, one more option. There's all the things like Blue Dragon tiles, the Dwarven Forge 3D terrain is what I've graduated to, and I love that stuff, but it is pricey.
Yeah.
The resin cast versions of it and the new Dwarven Forge they've come out with is cheaper, and they can do more of it, and it's the same thing. What I was using before, between paper and the battle mats, and before I got into Dwarven Forge and 3D terrain, what I had was a whole bunch of the old Dungeonscape cardboard interlocking map pieces. There were 10 by 10 pieces that were like corners. They had some squares. They had some just generic rooms that you could just put down. And then they had these 20 by 10 long corridor pieces, which also had like little puzzle end pieces that would just snap together.
Right.
I could slap one of those down on the table in seconds, and that's just what they see. If they chose to map it, they chose to map it. If they didn't, they didn't.
Yep.
And we would take it up as we go and lay it down as we go.
Right.
That's one option.
Right.
Another 3D or pre-generated map or drawn map option you can always use is the manual version of the Techno Fog of War. Pre-build the entire map, if it fits on your table.
If you have a table
Cover
easy
it
enough.
with pieces of paper or something, or cloth or tissues or whatever, so they can't see all of it and only pull off what they are in.
That's kind of nuts, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I did the same thing when we do Open Game Day. When we do the World Game Day D&D events and stuff like that, I would pre-map the entire thing in Dwarven Forge, take just a box full of those rooms already staged and laid out, open the drawer out, set it up in about 15 minutes or less. I'd have the whole dungeon laid out on the table, throw some extra pieces of coverboard over it, and that would cover the dungeon parts that they were not in. I don't go exclusive with one format or the other. As far as those ginormous, beautiful, super printed maps, and I've got a stack from Christopher West's campaign cartographer stuff that he's done that are amazing and are already at miniature scale, and they are these super beautiful art print things that make you shame to grab a grease pencil and approach near a grid map. But you can use that kind of stuff in combination with your other mapping materials. There's nothing that says you can't have a really cute room, which is exactly what, in fact, Night Below did. Those big, huge maps are not the maps that you play off of. There's only 3 map pieces in there that were character scale, miniature scale grid maps to pull out for a particular encounter. a tunnel,
Huh.
and one temple.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Everything else was just here's a map, and they did a poster of them,
Yep.
and it was double-sided, so you couldn't even cut them apart and have them as separate pieces because you'd cut up the other map.
Yep.
But that was just like opening any old classic module to the page where here's your blue grid of the map and talk people through what they see or don't see. And if they choose to map it, they choose to map it. If they don't, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that with actual miniatures. And before I did miniatures, we did that with just graph paper.
Yep.
If someone chose to map, they chose to map.
Yeah.
If not, you just describe the room they were in. I might draw it on a whiteboard. I might draw it on a glass board in front of us or a graph paper in front of us, and then we would chuck it and move on to the next.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. Just a quick thing. Like, if I didn't actually discover and start using Roll20, let's put it this way: between you, Full On, and Allie, because I've known Allie for how long? Over 20, almost 20 years now, and I've played with her and I've DM'd her. She is, I won't say obsessive with the map, but she has to get it right. And it's one of those where I'm just glad that I discovered Roll20 and I learned it just enough to make it work for my game. And then all we got to do is focus on the actual game instead of the map.
Another thing that goes with that, there is nothing that says you have to slow the game down and issue corrections.
Yeah.
Because errors happen. People drawing maps have errors happen. Mm-hmm. You have dungeons that are intentionally designed to cause errors.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Teleport traps, redirect things, concealed slopes, all those things that those dwarven powers come into useful effect for. I joined the Cartographers Guild forum thing in G+, and one of the maps that was published there was this guy said, hey, here's my cool, neat maze map. And I looked at it, and my eyes started to hurt. And then I started charting out the stairs and the layers and levels of it, and he basically generated an Escherism in his map.
Oh, jeez.
And
he went Escher on you?
Well, not really Escher. It didn't turn on axis or anything, but you have... It only went down 30 feet here and it went down 50 feet here, and the hallway between them is straight and not sloped. What's the problem? Mm-hmm. And they end up going, right. You went upstairs here and you went downstairs here, and you meet in the middle in a room on another floor. And that kind of thing is possible. Guess what? It's D&D. There's dimensional magic. There's teleport magic. There's gate magic. There's illusion. All these things can make errors in the map be intentional. Let them suck it up and just drive on.
Yeah, suck it up.
No, we're gonna have to cover this topic in more in another episode.
Yeah,
about mapping and maps.
Sure.
I think we could probably do either a whole episode or a segment.
We have done whole episodes on
shows
it, but
on
it's revisiting regularly.
Nothing wrong with
yes,
that.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, we can do that. All right, I'll put that in the notes.
I even did an episode of Old Man Grognard about mapping and maps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, and let me finish him out here. A couple of comments, says Dungeon Dude Tim. First, this is the second time I've written this email. I tried using the contact us form from your webpage, but it gave me an error when I tried to send a message, and did not apparently work. Our bad. We'll get Vince on it.
Yeah.
You guys may have more listeners, people writing in and not getting through. You may be aware of. That may be true.
Perhaps.
We'll have to look into that.
That's why.
Second, I'm interested in listening to
you. Post there. We exist there as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Second, I'm interested in listening to your Hammers of the Duchy sessions, but not all the links seem to be functioning, and so it's hard to download. Keep up the good work and game on. DM Tim, a.k.a. Dungeon Dude. We're going to have to talk to Vince about that.
I'll revisit that.
There's actually people who want to listen to this?
Yeah, apparently. How about that? But, I'll look into that, because last I checked, those links worked. I did them myself, and bad comes to worse, you can always, go on iTunes. As a matter of fact, I'll give the address for the actual. Oh, I've got company. I'll give the address for the actual place we do, where we actually upload the stuff to.
Right.
Give me a moment. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, there it is. Okay. Basically, what you want to do is go to feedburner.com/OSR actual play podcasts, all one word. So feedburner.com/OSR actual play podcasts, all one word. And that's where you can find Hammers of the Duchy and our trivia game as well.
And
I do all my podcast downloads directly from places like Feedburner because I won't touch iTunes with a 10-foot grognard.
That's how I get. That's how I get the finished product.
Okay, Milan, you're up. Read one.
All righty. This is an email from DanMan916.
Hi, Dan.
Dan.
DM Dan.
Greetings, podcasters extraordinaire. I'm still catching up on episodes and have been bouncing around a bit. I'm currently around episode 80 from last January and have really enjoyed listening to the way that the Brainstorm segment developed in the THACO's Hammer podcast.
Thank you.
I think that you have all done a great job developing storylines for a campaign. The dynamic of building off one another to weave a background setting is what made a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
The Brainstorm podcast is a good podcast, but it doesn't do what you guys did. It isn't what Corey seemed to envision. I'm kind of bummed about that. The hosts talk about a particular subject, which is fine in and of itself, but they don't develop anything. The hosts just talk about how they use potions or wishes or whatever the topic is in their campaign. The creativity and collaboration just isn't there. All that being said, I do like Glenn's input the best on whatever subject is being discussed. I want to give you guys kudos at THACO's Hammer podcast for the way you did it on the Brainstorm. This isn't meant to bash the Brainstorm podcast. I listen to it as well. It's just that I like the way you guys did it here. Maybe you can find a way to do your collaborative approach to creativity again from time to time. It was a great segment. Oh, yeah, we still do the original Brainstorm podcast.
Yes.
We still do episode segments of that, so be glad and catch up on the episodes. You'll hear more of them.
Yep.
I think he's got a point, really. And I'm not saying what we're doing is bad, because we get the information out and people really seem to like it. It's just that we seem to be more email driven now.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't got a lot of, hey, why don't you make this?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's always like, why don't you discuss this? And so we discuss it.
Okay. Fair enough.
We're more listener driven on the Brainstorm podcast. Mm-hmm. Not to say we're not listener driven here. I mean,
we are.
We're doing the emails, and we do, if you guys want to send us, THACOShammer@gmail.com, you want to send in a idea for a brainstorm, we want us to build something, have that.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's just there's a slightly different focus now on there. Mm-hmm. But we're still in the mold of the let's brainstorm this and see what we can come up with, or what you did that in the past that works for you. Maybe somebody else can use that.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, just go ahead and make that explicit in your requests for the Brainstorm podcast. Don't say discuss. Say the magic word, create.
Yes.
Create, yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we're old men. We don't understand big old words.
I mean, yeah, that's the concept of the Brainstorm we do. It's something Corey came up with, and he's a genius for doing it. I mean, I couldn't thank him enough, because I found out through the years we've been doing this, we play off each other pretty damn well. And if somebody has an idea, someone has a concept, and we are all good with running with it, but we're not running in opposite directions. We're more or less running in the same direction. Just maybe on, a little bit of a different angle.
It's also known as blue skying it, because, okay, let's do this. It's there. Go. Sky's the limit. Whatever. Mm-hmm. There's no bad ideas.
Exactly.
Yes, it is the lair in the blue sky of the squittins.
Yes. I mean, there may be silly ideas. We'll say so.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it may not work, but we're just going to okay, well, let's move on.
Yeah, we're just spitballing. That's all we're doing, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the way we run it here. I'd like to see a little more of that into the Brainstorm, the official Brainstorm podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I have to talk to Vince about this, because we tend to get well, what do we talk about this time? How do you use this? How do you use potions? What kind of traps? And we do come up with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did a show on traps that was better than I thought it'd be, because we each came up with 2 traps. Mm-hmm. I came up with 2, and I'm going, well, these are good. I never do traps. Where the hell did I get these?
Mm-hmm.
So there's something like that. But yeah, I'll discuss that next time we talk. Also, because Brainstorm comes out more in this show, there's more criticism. So anyway,
that's okay.
Anyway, thank you,
Dan.
Thank you,
That would
Fred.
be yes, Jim Dan.
Fred Flintstone, Dan.
Yeah.
And yes, if you want to have more classic versions of brainstorms, keep listening to the THACO's Hammer podcast. It does show up here from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
we
yes,
just
Corey
did.
is a genius. We've already acknowledged that.
Yeah, we just did one for Splat Book 104, which will be coming out soon once I get 103 up. But yeah, we do them. We just try to space them out because.
We'll be out by the time this comes out.
Yeah, well, if I have anything to say about it, I'm gonna try and get it out. But anyway, okay, I've got one from DM Gerhard.
Go. Hey, Gerhard.
Okay, now
hello, Gerhard.
I'm going to preface this question. I'm going to read it anyway, but he sent us another one because he misinterpreted what he read, and he was asking us about it. But he got it later without our help. But I'm going to read the email anyway. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, a quickie question. My wife is playing a swashbuckler thief, 2-weapon style, dual wielding. Jeez, I can't talk. Dual wielding rapiers. Thank you. Weapon of choice. My question comes from Attacks and Initiative. Gronk, the half-orc, wields his halberd, but only rolls 1 for initiative. Esmeralda, the swashbuckler, dual-wielding rapiers with basket hilts, rolls 2 10s, but opts to parry with 1 attack. Even with the weapon speeds factored in, Gronk still acts first. Gronk rolls an 18, hitting easily, and rolls for 10 points of damage. Esmeralda acts after Gronk, rolls 2 18s as well. Now, because she is acting after the attack, do I allow her the opportunity to parry that attack that in theory already happened, and then still hit Gronk with the second? Or do I say she missed the boat with the initiative, lost action with the parry, and is only allowed the 1 attack? Do you guys have a nifty house rule to remedy this, or have I missed an obviously well-explained rule in the rule books? I patiently wait Falon's chastisement. Thanks and keep up the good work. That's funny. Okay.
Okay, Falon, go ahead.
Okay, since you asked for it. My simple rule is I've really kind of done away with weapon speeds.
Mm-hmm.
I just use initiative, and initiative modifiers based on stats, and then I use it as that's your initiative. You went first or you didn't go first. And if it takes something that requires a prepared action, or I'm foregoing initiative to ready an action and I didn't do it this round, I'm first next round, that's how you do it. It kind of evolved into a 3E-ism with that. But that's a way to pull it off without having these complex problems. The thing to remember is when you're dealing with D&D, classic, initiative, weapon speeds, all this other stuff like that, that's just a way of ordering the sequence of events to manage it. It's still supposed to represent an abstract grand melee and is not down to the split-second breakout of you physically really did act before this person did or did not, and therefore you have no option to act or intervene.
Right.
If you have a special class ability that lets you have a reaction that involves countering an pre-existing, pre-confirmed attack, that's the point of it. It's just the courtesy of the sequence of when you roll things is how classic D&D initiative with weapon speeds is just managed.
Okay.
It's not meant to be literal cut, stab, spike. You can't hack somebody's neck 17 times. I'm still here. I've got hit points. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
The grand
That's where the that's where the descriptive powers of the DM come into play.
Yes, and that's how you can turn a hit into a miss.
I'm trying to learn to do that too.
You turn a hit into a miss, you turn a crit into a fumble into a crit. An amazing turn of events, however it's going to be, is spinning the tail of battle other than you roll, you hit, you miss, you next. I parry, dodge, turn, spin,
I had to
thrust,
get used to
twang.
Yeah.
I had to get used to doing that in 50 Fathoms. This is pirates, for God's sake. They're fencing and doing all this other stuff instead of saying, "Oh, I hit. What'd I do?
Well,
what'd you do?" That kind of thing.
Well, that comes back to just players playing D&D for so long. Now, see, I did something a little bit differently, especially with characters who have multiple attacks, if they're using 2 weapons or whatever. What I used to do is that if you, let's use his example. A half orc is attacking a swashbuckler with 2
Half
rapiers.
orcs attacking. Okay.
Yeah, and
2 rapiers.
yeah, and the half orc gets initiative and attacks the swashbuckler, and the attack's going to hit. Now, I give the player, and Falon, I should have given this to you because God only knows what you would have done with it, but I give them the choice to forego.
Spit it out.
I'm doing it. Give me a second. Jeez. Wow.
A chance to forego.
A chance to forego the attack on their initiative to parry the attack that's coming in. And even if they elect to do that, they still have to make a roll, and if they blow the roll, they get hit and they lose their attack. And that's how I ran it as far as doing parrying. Not all this make this ability check and you get a +4 bonus to your AC. It's like, no. I go the old wuxia movie style. Either you block it or you get hit by it. One of the two. If you decide to try and evade it, there's a chance it might still hit you. But you at least have that option.
Right.
I had lots of familiarity with that kind of thing playing Palladium, where you have martial arts, and Mecha even have the choice of hit. Did you hit? Did I dodge? I didn't dodge. I parried, or I whatever.
Correct.
You can parry, you can block, you can dodge, you can use several options to counter an attack, but it's not initiative dependent. It's just the attack's coming in. What are you going to do about it? And it eats up one of your attacks, or 2 of your attacks, or however many you had available. If you had multiple attacks available and you used one to parry, you now only have 1 attack left to fight with. Use it on your initiative. Go for it.
And yeah, that's how. And that's the funny part is that's how Marvel Superheroes works, because they redid it to where the higher your agility is, the more attacks you have or actions you have in a round. So you can actually have several attacks or several actions going. And if, let's see, you're about to get your face bashed in by Thor, and you have the ability to dodge it, but it will take one of your actions away in the round, do it.
This is how Spider-Man dodges it.
Yeah, well, and he's got the spider sense too, which helps. Makes him very hard
but
to hit.
But I'm saying he's got such an agility and dex that he can take all those actions and just I burn it to get out of the way.
Exactly, and that's and once that rule came into effect with Marvel, the game became a lot more interesting. But yeah,
in Champions, anybody can dodge, but that takes up their next action.
Correct.
Now you get a +3 DCV when you dodge, but your next action you're still dodging. Now the bad part is you can't make an attack. The good part is you're still dodging.
Yeah.
That means anybody else tries to hit you, you still get that +3 until your turn is over. I mean, if say some guy in phase 3 says I hit you, you can automatically say I dodge. I'll take my next action to dodge. You go on 6. So from 3 to 6, anybody who tries to hit you, you're +3.
So it just keeps going until the next combat.
Until your turn. Until your next phase. Yeah. Which is that's one way to do it. I like that.
Another thing that I've used in the past is I encourage or try to get there's different methods of doing this in different styles. One is you can roll initiative first and then let people figure out their actions based on how they rolled out in initiative.
Right.
And that can turn into the literal situation of I, the guy with the halberd, rolled great and beat you with your little swishy poke dagger, and I clobbered you in the face while you were flat-footed on it. Eat it. Or you can declare actions, roll initiative, and as you get to people's initiative order, either they execute that action or they sacrifice it to do something else and lose a step of initiative by changing their mind.
Right.
Right. I see.
Yeah, and that gives a lot more player freedom to where they feel like they're not locked into initiative, attack, damage, saving throw, wash, rinse, repeat.
Gotcha.
That can also go with if you have multiple attacks and you dropped your opponent and I have attacks left over. You keep packing the body on the way down, or you just swing at the other guy. Okay, lose a step of initiative, lose one segment of initiative and hit him in the next phase. I don't do all your other subsequent attacks come at the end of the round in order of whatever. You get your attack, your other attack, and so on through the sequence of initiative.
Yeah, that's 1E style. Yeah.
I don't weapon speed every single separate weapon or give you your 2 or 3 extra attacks at the end of the round as leftovers. I try to get him involved when you're actually doing
that's a shot at me. That's a little bit of a shot. Okay.
That's just individual styles.
Yeah.
Individual styles.
Okay.
Anyway, who was that again?
That was. Oh, you would ask me that.
That was DM Gerhard.
Yeah,
I know
Gerhard.
because I have the other email.
Thank you, DM Gerhard. We like your style.
Yeah.
I think I've got the voice for my next character for Brian's game.
Oh God, no, because Full-On's going to be talking like that in the Marvel game.
Oh my goodness! No, I mean in the next D&D game. Hi, Corey. How are you?
Corey, is he? Do we have a Corey?
We sort of have a Corey. He's opening capture. He's trying to inquire into my picture.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
I see a Corey. He's in the room. Hi, Corey.
Be careful, Corey. We may make you read an email. We've been known to do that.
Yeah, we can't. Anyway. We can't hear you if you're saying anything. Oh, wait.
There was a mic flurb.
Yeah, I heard that.
Quick, Corey, tell him the phone number to call in voicemails to.
I think he's having technical difficulties.
Oh, well.
Please stand by.
Please stand by. I'm not going to stand by. I'm going to read another email. Well,
he typed it in.
The phone number is 806-0555. What's the area code, Corey?
Oh, you guys are horrible.
We already kissed it. Come on, we already kissed his butt one earlier in the show.
Yeah, no, that wasn't us. That was
Corey. You've been dubbed a genius by one of the emails. So
yeah,
anyway,
you were called a genius, Corey. It's true.
For brainstorm.
Yes, for coming up the brainstorm concept. Yes.
That's
super genius.
That's super genius, he says. Anyway.
Original brainstorm podcast, except no substitutes.
Corey, join us if you can.
What?
Corey, join us if you can. In the meantime, I'm going to read another email.
Yeah, go for it, Glenn.
This is from Steven O'Solarius on Dragon's Foot, OSR Gaming, and Twitter. So, here we go. Hi, Hammer Masters, or is it Hammered Masters? Well, that depends if you're talking to Corey or not.
Yeah, you're talking to you and Corey.
I'm just catching up on your podcast from the start. I first learned about y'all around episode 94, and I've had a lot to do. So far, I'm up to episode 6. So this may have been dealt with in the past for y'all, but will be dealt with in my future. I'd like to hear y'all's thoughts on the turning ability for necromancers. Due to the religious extremism of the 80s, certain aspects of the cleric turning ability were ignored, and the system itself was in need of revision anyhow. Robert Stockdale's article As the Cleric Turns in Dragon number 140 does a nice job of fixing the mechanic, but still avoids the extremist controversy of the 80s. With the publication of the Guide to Hell, this controversy gets addressed, but not entirely adequately given Stockdale's article. Would any of you recommend merging the table for devils and demons with the level HD-based table from Stockdale's article, such that table goes by creature hit die instead of type? How about allowing the ability to work against angelic creatures for evil priests? Interesting concept.
Been doing that for decades. Sorry.
So you've been having evil priests turning like angelic deities and stuff?
If they're powerful enough, sure. That's what that special category is. The one that's really hard to attain. You know? Oh, hold on a second. Hold that thought, Glenn. I just want to check something. Okay, we lost Corey. He's still trying to get hooked in. Go ahead.
So that means that if that's the case, then good clerics can control angels and
no.
Like
the
evil ones?
Findings, maybe. Why?
That would be bad.
In Full-On's game, yeah.
Well,
if a necromancer can seize control of the dead, why couldn't which one is the planes sphere? Cleric thing. Yeah, the one who deals with not divination, the other thing. I'm brainwashed already. I would lose. Huh? Abjuration? We're talking clerics. Cleric spheres.
Yeah.
Okay. The one deals with planar joining or controlling or gating and all that stuff. If that's your sphere, why not Be the person who can seize into, oh yes, angel person, you're going to do my bidding and you're not going to like it.
Oh boy.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah, I could see it happening, but yeah. Okay. Look who's here, and look who. Oh, shocking! He's drinking something.
Yeah.
Look who's
Now,
here.
DM,
Yeah, it's me. I'm here.
hi,
Sorry,
hi,
guys.
Corey.
Sorry I'm late. They just
That's
kicked me out of
okay.
the bar, so now I'm stuck. You guys are stuck with me.
That's okay. We can deal
You're
with
stuck with us.
Glenn, I love your new background. That animated GIF you have for a background is awesome. A lot better than
You like that?
I do. That's pretty cool.
I had to pay these people $5 a head to do this. No,
Wow.
no, I'm coming.
Unpaid interns,
from
they don't get to speak.
I'm coming from my local game store because we almost got hit by a tornado yesterday, and we're still trying to get internet access back to my house. But they're doing a Magic tournament back there, so and some Pathfinder and such. But you guys on the episode, listening to the episode already know this. So, Corey, did you hear the last email about?
I heard
Claire?
I was a genius, but I didn't hear the email that was read off.
Okay.
Can you give him a summary, Brian?
Yeah, he emailed us and he was basically doing. He gave you props by calling you a genius for coming up with the brainstorm concept to begin with.
Oh,
He likes real brainstorm podcasts.
Yeah, he likes
not
what
the
we
low
do.
calorie version.
Yeah, he likes what we do, but not so much as what the
other show
think tank
does.
brainstorm comes up with. I thought
Oh, okay.
I thought you
Well,
guys have been
Vince,
doing
Vince,
what
Vince,
we've been
Vince.
doing all this time. I didn't know it was sort of like.
Well, I will take
email in,
full
yeah.
ham credit for the idea for brainstorm, but I'm not going to take full credit of what we create on the show because
No.
that's all four of us working together to create what we do on the
Plus
show.
whoever else is on here, like
Yeah.
Jeb
Which
and
is yeah,
Kojo.
Kojo, freaking Zeb Cook, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I'm going to pin him down at the convention in June and ask him, did you ever use any of that stuff that we brainstormed for any of your new stuff?
you know, that's one of the reasons why I want to get like Jeff Grubb and Steve Winter and guys like that in there because I want to get them in on a brainstorm just to see what they come up with.
What was the email that I couldn't answer because my mic wasn't working? What was that last email?
Clerics and Turning.
Yeah, Clerics and Turning.
Basically, let's see if I can sum this up real quick.
DM Gerhard wants to know what is the significant clerics turnings.
Yeah, he says Richard Stockdale's as the cleric turns with Badger 140, does a nice job, and the Guide to Hell addressed it. He wonders if merging the table for Devils and Demons with the Stockdale article
and
would help.
Yeah, he kind of turned it into a halfway complaint about how second edition got politically correct, which we covered many splat books ago. And I'm
but
like,
he's only up to 6.
Yeah, I know.
And it was not DM Gerhard. That was another guy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
He's only up to 6.
Yeah, and so we were talking about it, and basically he's asking, can a necromancer, use his power to control, like an angel, an upper plane denizen, so to speak. And I'm just like, not without major help, he can't.
Where do you think we get it from?
No, I know.
The other side.
No, I mean, yeah, true, but no, the necromancer.
We got friends on the other side.
Necromancer.
So do they.
Guys, the necromancer is arcane power, not divine. That's a whole That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But
I was saying, talking about the same different thing.
Yeah.
The cleric version of that. Again, I lost my points for D&D trivia. I can't remember my cleric spears.
Oh, geez, yeah, I remember that. Speaking of that, episode 4 of D&D trivia coming soon. Yeah, you missed that one, Corey. It was actually fun. Let's see.
Folks, don't forget, I'm going to run out of cards one of these days. It's either we do repeats or we stop doing them.
Yeah,
but anyway,
no kidding.
Back
to the
and
point.
Full and I was wondering if a good cleric can control angelic deities like necromancers can control undead.
I can't.
And demons.
Personally, I can't see that. I mean, because at that point, if you are a good cleric and you're using your power to control another creature of good, you are not good anymore in my book. That's just.
I think he's pretty good for doing it.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, Corey, lay it on us. What do you think?
You just said, can an evil cleric, or can a good cleric control another person and still be good?
Another being of good, like
Right.
let's say neutral good cleric.
Divine.
Yeah, neutral
Divine
good.
angelic.
Yeah, and somehow, some way, wants to pull an angel, pull a diva down from like the seven heavens and help him to do this, but
That's
has
not
to
the
coerce
turning
it.
question.
Okay.
That's not the turning question. We're
That's
talking
what I
about
want to know.
someone gets confronted by an angelic creature. I'm a cleric. I turn the special category angelic creature. Is it destroyed, or do I get to control it?
No.
Or is it just driven away?
No, driven away. It's because the special category, you don't really get abilities to turn on that until you're like 6th level or something like that. I'm not looking at the chart right now, just off the top of my head, and even then that's a natural 20 on the roll, and it only goes down by 3, and that's like the most difficult one. That's for extraplanar beings.
Can a good creature control an extraplanar good creature?
Yeah, using the turning ability. That's what he wants to know.
My opinion, rules as written. The game was originally created. Same reason why paladins have to be lawful good as per first edition or basic rules. The fact that a paladin has to be lawful good is because the point of the origination is crusaders, and the crusades good versus evil. So when they came up with the D&D cleric, you were supposed to be a goodly cleric fighting evil.
Correct.
So by the ability to turn undead is the inherent god's divinity flowing through you of goodness, repelling or destroying the inherent evil of the undead. That special category would have nothing to do with the astral diva, in my opinion. Rules as written.
Okay. Well, and I'm kind of in lockstep with that because
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, trying to do that, I'm like, how? And there's no way you could use your power to coerce another being of good and still remain good, in my opinion.
It's not a mutant ability. It's you're a vessel, you're a straw for your god's power, and it's being sucked through you and shot at something evil. You can't use it towards good.
And just remember you made that statement when you're using your GM hat to put the people in that situation where you have good versus good conflict with conflicting goals.
That's
and
different.
Someone happens to have that's exactly what we're talking about. The lawful good person or the neutral good person who's trying to do a thing has to go to this place, and someone's got a lawful good astral entity in the way that can't be talked through, and the fight starts, and they choose to turn it.
Well, that is different. What he's asking is, can you use your divine power to control said being? I say no, but to drive it away is different. That's a straight turning roll as far as I'm concerned. I understand that part of it, and then that's how, and of course that's how religious wars start.
The glory and power of my boss impresses you, and I convince you to my side at least for the next 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me power through the rest of this email.
Oh, we're not
because
done. Okay.
There's more.
Yeah. Well, there's just a little bit more, and it has to do. I'm sorry, Corey, but Dark Sun.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
It says. Well, it's just a variation. It says Dark Sun introduced another complication of the turning ability by eliminating divine magic / power and basing it in a cleric elemental magic. This requires the use of power drawn from the negative or positive inner planes instead of divine power from the outer planes. What are y'all's thoughts on how this would affect the power against demonic or angelic creatures? Love the podcast, guys. Stephen, listening us on Dragonsfoot, OSR Gaming, and Twitter. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
So that complicates it even more.
Well,
no, it doesn't.
Well, yeah, this guy, yeah, I noticed through.
You're overthinking it. Just like you can encounter, fight, and have battles on the negative plane, the positive plane, the astral plane, and the ethereal plane with all these other extraplanar creatures. They're subject to damage in those environments. Therefore, if that's the source of your drawn power, you're still subject to influence, power, destruction, damage, whatever it is your turning envelope is rendering for you based on your alignment and their alignment.
Knock it off.
Okay.
Easy enough. Simple answer.
All right.
Done.
Sure.
Done and done. Okay.
I don't care if you're a cleric of nothing but the plant sphere or the sun sphere. You're going to have a power source that's divine in nature channeling that.
Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah, if you
Any-
have the ability to turn undead, yes, for sure. Oops.
Anyway,
Moving
why
on.
don't we get?
Fawn?
We have enough.
Yeah, sure. I have the other DM Gerhard question.
Oh, okay, go. By all means.
Greetings all.
Gerhard?
DM Gerhard here. Moved on to Tanzania from Romania.
Wow.
Trading in vampires for Maasai warriors.
Mm.
Always liked these little sentient squirrel folk. His email, by the way, was titled Kupka, Kupka, Kupka.
Oh, God.
Found ways to get them into my forest settings. Currently, we have one in a game I am running here in Dar es Salaam. Using him as an NPC, giving him a kind of Native American shaman Johnny Depp Tonto feel, with a dash of Jim Jarmusch's Dead Man Indian character Nobody. Hope someone gets the reference a bit obscure.
That is pretty
Just
obscure.
because he's a 1.5 feet tall doesn't mean he can't be a spooky badass, or really help out a party short of a ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, share the squirrel love for someone not Rocky. So long, and thanks for all the work you do to keep up my favorite role-playing game alive, DM Gerhard.
See, this is why the internet is
My kind of
international.
gamer.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the internet is international. In any country or language, this would make no frickin' sense.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Johnny Depp squirrels.
Yeah. He decided just to combine aspects of like Johnny Depp with this and Littlefoot from The Indian in the Cupboard, I believe the movie is. And
Oh,
things like
Lord.
that, and that's what he decided to do. That's okay. I mean, I've never had an opportunity to use Kirkpa, but ever since I saw them in that Dragon Magazine annual, I've always wanted to. But
Which one was this?
that was, oh God, what, Dragon Magazine annual?
No, what was the article? What was the article?
That
again?
was about Kirkpa, the little squirrel people.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, and I mean, I love it. It's fun. I mean, I think it's pretty cool, but at the same time, it's
This would
like,
appeal. This would appeal to the mouse guard people.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't.
These are the barbarians in your pixie game.
There you go.
If
That'd
you're
be
playing
interesting.
fairy meat.
That would be cool. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Kirkpas. I would use them, but
I can see Corey likes them just about as much as singing mushrooms.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Corey,
just
you gotta have the
yeah, Corey's got the gas face going on.
Yeah.
I don't mind squirrels, but no.
They're 1.5 feet tall squirrels
Yeah.
with bows.
Yeah, with bows
You know what
and
they
swords.
are? They're the only thing in the game that allows gnomes to call somebody shorty. That's why they were created. Somebody who played gnomes goes, "There's got to be something smaller than my character. I'm gonna make it."
Yes.
What
yes,
if you
call it
want
kobold.
cool and badass with bushy tails?
Rocket Raccoon?
Yeah.
That's a raccoon.
Yeah, put Rocket Raccoon down there, then he can boss them all around.
Yep. Oh, hey. Oh, that would
Yeah,
actually.
and
be...
then
Go ahead.
and then have a Chirpka and a freaking Trent walking around
Treant.
together.
Why not? It's the forest.
I am Groot.
Yeah, stranger
Groot,
things have happened. I could.
And a half
You're a Triad. No, I am Groot.
and a half-orc female and a ogre male and
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
we're good.
One guy called Batusta. Thank you
Yeah.
Thanks.
for that. For that thought I'll never get out of my head
Okay.
now, no matter how hard.
You're
That's the
welcome.
that's
All right. I'll
that's the brain. No, okay, give Corey one.
Okay. I'll read one.
Now I gotta go log into email.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read one because this guy's going to take us to task. The same person, Stephen Fowler, same guy. Okay. He says.
I'm ready to bust some butt. Go ahead.
Okay, he says, I'm still going to catch up with all the podcasts, but I jumped ahead to number 58. Well, that would.
Okay.
Because I love Athos and Psionics, and I was very disappointed at the attitude, particularly from DM Glen, towards an exceptional setting concept that not only eliminated, but is an antithetical to the standard sword and sorcery game. Stop.
No, wait a minute.
Stop.
Whoa. He's taking issue to me and not Corey?
I was the one who was hardest on it, to be honest.
Really?
I was.
Yeah, but I'm going to
Well, we all
stop
were.
the email right there, and we'll pick it up. Let's understand something. When we, the whole thing is that it's not easy for us to polish up something the four of us do not like very much. I tried to be as objective as I could be, but the problem with the game itself is that
Setting.
Yeah, it's the
Setting, not
setting.
game.
Sorry,
Setting.
thank you, setting. The problem with the setting is that after a while, when a game becomes the survival is its own reward, and the only way to advance in the game is to try and do certain things that are going to 85 to 90% of the time get your party killed. That is not fun for me. I've played in Dark Sun. I have nothing personal against it, but at the same time, it's not my cup of tea, and I tried to convey that. This guy, I mean, I'm going to full disclosure here. This guy has been ever since Splatbook 58 came out. This guy and a couple of other people, especially on Facebook, they've kind of taken shots at us because of this. And I'm like, look, not on Facebook. I'm sorry, on Dragon's Foot and a couple other places. And I tell them
I don't go there anymore.
Yeah, well, and I tell them the same thing. It's like, look, I know you love the setting. Your love for the setting shines through in the words you speak on the internet, but you're not going to change my mind by telling me how much of a wonderful setting it is.
And what setting are we talking about?
Dark Sun.
Dark Sun.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like,
right there.
Yeah,
right there.
And my whole thing is that I'm not going. These are our opinions. Our opinions are not fact. They are from either our idea of the game, our experiences with the game, and so forth and so on. I mean,
and if we think a game on the other end of the scale, if we think the game's best is better than the Second Coming, that doesn't mean you should
just
take our word for it because it's our opinion.
Correct.
As much as we want to convince you, that's what we're here to convince you about it. That doesn't mean you have to follow us.
Right.
I don't mind Dark Sun. I don't mind it as much as I mind Space D&D.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But
Spelljammer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather play Al-Qadim, Oriental Adventures.
Red Steel.
Those either, but,
yeah, Red
Birthright.
Not as.
Yeah.
Mask of the Red Death.
I should like it more because I love psionics. I should be obsessed with Dark Sun. I just, you get tired of Mad Max D&D, and I'm just, I don't know. The setting itself doesn't grab me and enthrall the way Forgotten Realms did. Maybe maybe I should have read more Dark Sun novels. I don't know, but
I read the
Dark Sun just.
I read the Prison Pentad. It actually wasn't bad, but it didn't make me want to run out and buy Dark Sun stuff.
I read the one that had that chick holding the curtain open of a house.
Yeah,
that's what I remember
the Prison Pentad. Yeah.
All right, I read that one and that was it.
Corey, take Dark Sun, take Eberron, mash them together, and have D&D Judge Dredd.
That's what would
Warforged.
Right. Yep.
That's already more interesting.
Let me kill him, Paul.
Okay, let me continue the email. I love the concept of the Templar and Sorcerer King relationship and the Templar class as well as the Traitor subclass. The world is harsh, demanding, and requires the players to have hack and slash abilities, political savvy, and business acumen to successfully navigate the world. Plenty of modules and adventures are adaptable to the setting as well. I adapted Jeff Grubb's first edition OA3 module, Ochimo Spirit Warrior, to it, and when I heard your early podcast about Dungeon number 33, Keddy's Freehold, or I think it was Crady's Freehold, but
Siege of Crady's Freehold.
Yeah. The first thing I thought of how perfect for Athos this is. I'd love to come on as a guest sometime and applaud Dark Sun. I own everything ever published for the 2E setting, with the exception of some of the merchandising
You're on.
products.
You're hired.
No,
You're on.
no.
You're on.
We do that. If you've got a subject that you're bailiwick that's not ours, like we did with the Spelljammer thing, be our guest host and join us.
You know what our email address is? Email us. You guys
are opening a big can of worms. That's all I'm gonna say.
Why?
Because we're going to get more responses from Ravenloft fanboys and girls anyway.
Well, that's because, you want to know what? We actually gave a pretty good overall review to Ravenloft, and that's because Vince did a good job.
If somebody wants to rebut, we'll let them rebut.
Well,
if they want to come on and rebut,
okay.
Let me
even better.
Glenn. Let me support Glenn here.
Okay.
When we want to talk about Mystara, when we want to talk about Mystara, we go to you. We defer to you. We want to talk about, RC or any of the rules or anything like that, we talk to Glenn.
Correct.
We talk about Forgotten Realms is me and
We go to you.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
None of us are Spelljammer experts
No.
or, Dark Sun experts, so
No.
we don't have anybody. I'm perfectly fine with having somebody come on for a show.
Somebody wants to be an expert on Dark Sun. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. They want to come on.
Okay.
Teach us.
Okay.
Learn us.
Okay.
Yeah, when you talk about Mystara, Brian, I listen.
Mm-hmm.
When Glenn gives me, the comparison to first to second edition and what he sees between the RC and this, I listen because I don't know any of that, And when Full On talks about anything that I don't know about, I listen because Full On can just give you information.
You have a point.
So that's why we
just...
have those experts on the show also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I apologize, but my whole point is that I just get irritated when somebody decides to try basically through his faith in the setting that he prefers or loves and he's trying to change my mind, and I just get really, really, really stubborn about
He's
that.
got an episode to do it. If he can't do it in an episode, then he doesn't.
You could give him 50, he won't change my mind, but that's okay.
Well, then there you go. What's one going to hurt?
Okay, okay. Okay.
Besides, I see this is us putting our money where our mouth is.
Okay,
too.
okay.
Yeah.
And him putting his money where his mouth is.
Who do we have on for Spelljammer?
We had Kojo and All Dragon.
And guess what? I listened to that show, and guess what? I still don't freaking play.
And that's okay.
So this guy can come on and talk Dark Sun all he wants, and I'll go, it's still Mad
Have we pulled someone in for Dragonlance yet? I know the offer's still out there for that, too.
No.
I am currently in talks with a certain writer that I will discuss at a later date that we may or may not get on the show.
Okay.
Okay. What was it? When we did Ravenloft, I got Vincent here because he's a Ravenloft expert.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because he's an undead.
Okay.
Well, anyway, thank you. Was that it?
No, let me just finish up.
There's more.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see. Let's see. And once I become familiar with it, I'd like to review Tim Brown's evolution of his concept in his new rules-agnostic setting called Dragon Kings. So, not to be confused with his TSR Dark Sun supplement of the same name. I also recently had my own Atlas-related article published in Gygax Magazine number 5, which offers trader kits that could not fit only not on Atlas, but in more traditional medieval settings too. Still love the podcast, and we'll catch up. Steve Oicelarius Fowler.
You want me to read one?
Yeah, go ahead, Corey. You go ahead and read one.
Which ones
Yeah,
haven't we done?
why don't you read the last one, Corey? One more, and then that's it.
Then we have a voicemail from a mystery guest that Corey doesn't know about yet.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll have to pop the speakers for that. But yeah, I can edit that in.
I guess we're doing the ones that aren't highlighted in gray on here. Is that correct?
Yeah, pick whatever.
I'll just do FDs at the top.
Okay.
Go.
FD says, you guys mentioned how cool of a spell Dust Devil is. I've never really found a decent use for it. Can you elaborate? Also, how about some cool uses for command? What about suggestion? And the Kojo stuff, I was just busting his balls. Not everyone's spouse is as cool with the hobby as others. I just figure if he is able to buy lots of crap and resell them, I did this with 2 or 3 lots and ended up with 2 or 3 free books. Took a bit of time and effort on my part, probably too much for me to mess with in the future, but maybe Kojo has a better method.
Yeah, I kind of took FD to task because he was just taking pot shots at Kojo.
Command. I had a big smile on my face when he said command. I like command.
RPG.
I like suggestion.
What do you like, Corey?
Oh, I like command and suggestion. Dust Devil, I really don't know too many uses. Was I actually in the conversation we talked about Dust Devil? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I must have been drinking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, quick description of Dust Devil. Spell enables a priest to conjure a weak air elemental.
Yeah.
AC4, 2 hit dice, movement 180 feet per round, 1 attack at 1d4 damage, can be hit by normal weapons.
Okay, I'm assuming that it would kick up dust
Yeah,
since
and
it's
air.
dust devil.
Mm-hmm.
Obscurement. You can. That's one of those spells where you could like sneak around and you want to take that guard out,
Mm-hmm.
and you kick up a little dust devil at his feet, and all of a sudden,
yeah, something. I
that
mean,
kind of thing.
yeah, you can hold it in a gas cloud, or can hold a gas cloud or a creature in gaseous form. So if you're trying really hard to kill that vampire and he goes gaseous on you, yeah, dust devil. Yeah, it basically kicks up and disperses dust, sand, and ash in a 10-foot diameter cloud. It obscures normal vision, like was said. Creatures caught within it are blinded while inside, and for 1 round after they emerge from the cloud.
And if you really want to scare them, do an illusion of locusts inside the cloud.
There you go.
Catch a cloud kill in it. Maybe make a safe zone in a cloud kill in it. Use it to give the thief a valid reason to use a hide in shadows for getting another sneak attack set up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So how much volume of air does this thing move?
Oh, you would have to ask me that. I just closed.
The only reason I'm thinking is this. Here's my thought process. 2 wizards in a party.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody casts Dust Devil behind the front wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he would be caught in the whirlwind, i.e. pressurized air.
Mm-hmm.
With a fireball underground.
Interesting.
Ooh!
You could literally push the fire one direction.
Yeah, the winds aren't quite strong enough for that. They're only strong enough to put out torches, small campfires, small open flames of non-magical origin. One of the better functions for the spell is to try to mess up a spellcaster's concentration. If you put it on a spellcaster, the spellcaster has to make a saving throw versus spell to keep his concentration while casting.
How about this? You come across a camp of orcs, and it's nighttime. They're sitting around a campfire. Put a dust devil on one side to kick up the fire towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the fire to scatter smoke and ashes all about the place.
Yes, that's even better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You may not be able to put out or channel a fireball with it, because I think a fireball would be a bit far too blasty, but say you take your Dust Devil's cone and you stick a flaming sphere in it.
There you go.
You have a fire cone to manipulate people with.
I like that. Yeah, you'd have to use an air elemental to do what you're suggesting, Corey. But yeah.
I'd run. I'd have a ring of fire resistance on. Run, sit in the middle of the fire, kick up a dust devil around me.
Yeah, just to scare the crap out of people. Yep.
I am the demon of hellfire, and I bring you.
I am the god of hellfire. Yes. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see. So shall we? Oh, so you guys want to do
Brando
the
Barris,
voicemail?
God of Hearth and Home. I'm blowing up your hearth.
Well, did you want to discuss command and suggestion as well?
Good idea.
Okay. Command. Well,
I've commanded somebody to. I've commanded somebody to run through a gauntlet that my friends set up.
Mm-hmm.
Just pointing in the direction, say go.
Yeah,
Charge,
tell them to run.
Go.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep, die.
Yep.
It's a fake die, but it still works to say die.
Yep.
You say die, they look like they're dead in a few phases or segments it wears off, but you're long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Or you've already walked up and slit their throat.
Or
That's
you've
true.
impressed other people and making them think you can make people die because you can say die and they die.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, you could actually, be a magician on stage with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or like a traveling snake oil salesman. Watch this.
Scam artist.
Yep. For sure.
The scam artist version of the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
Or Hansel and Gretel when they're ghost hunting.
You cast the command die on your assistant, and it's like, watch, I can bring the dead back to life, and it's like time.
Yep.
Ooh, the bumpkins love it.
Mm-hmm.
The bumpkins love it.
Yeah, the only restriction to that is that creatures of high intelligence or more, or 6 or more hit dice get a save, adjusted for wisdom.
That's true. But if
It's another useful spell to tie into things like Magic Mouth, loaded with a command.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yep.
A
That's
command that's a trigger for something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, I could see that. And let's see. Let me move on to suggestion real quick. God, I love this.
Suggestion can use phrases.
But-
Now
yes.
I have the power of phraseology, which I have, it has always come down to the wonderful things like, yeah, you blew your save. I said break your staff.
Ooh.
Mage with a staff of power.
Would you stop
Made him do it. Made him do it.
Hey, magic user, will you stop telling the thief to give him the command to go up and pull your finger? You put your finger out and go pull.
Yeah, the mage thief who's just like, mage thief of mischief. Yeah, that's one of those. Quick, pull my finger.
I memorized explosive runes today.
Want to see?
Yeah, chaos and strife for sure.
Oh god. So command. What was the other one besides command?
Suggestion, which I'm looking for, and I'm having a little trouble locating.
Which is kind of a little bit of a sexy spell because I can suggest a lot.
Yeah.
There it is. Third level mage spell. I found it. Let's see. When it's cast, it influences the action of the chosen recipient by the utterance of a few word phrases or a sentence or two suggesting a course of action desirable to the spellcaster. Oh, that's not open to interpretation or anything.
Nope.
It's pretty blatant what you says you can do there.
Yeah.
Why don't you sit on your sword?
Yeah, exactly. The creature influence.
Just stand there and rest.
Yeah. Let's see. The suggestion must be worded in such a manner as to make the action sound reasonable. Asking the creature to stab itself, throw itself onto a spear, immolate itself, or do something obviously harmful automatically negates the effect of the spell. See? You gotta be slick with it.
Break your staff worked only because the person breaking the staff can be jettisoned by the resulting blast to another plane and doesn't necessarily be at risk of harm.
Uh-huh. Let's see.
I like to make people walk into doors.
Or walk through them, for that matter. The course of
Go
action...
nut punch the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Paladin.
Yeah,
that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, you're a tough guy. Your faith will protect you, sure. Let's see.
Really cool is when you just weave that into conversation as you're having your conversation as an NPC or a DM talking, or as a PC dealing with the NPCs. The DM is laid in front of you. You're chit-chatting. You pass the DM the thing while you're chit-chatting and says, make your save versus spell to suggestion during this conversation as it seems so reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly how the spellcasting's done for it.
Yeah, urging a red dragon to stop attacking the wizard's party so that the dragon and party could jointly loot a rich treasure elsewhere is a reasonable use of the spell's power. If of course the dragon fails its save, which is a whole other issue unto itself. But yeah, suggestion, that can be used.
And the more reasonable it is, you can even impose penalties to the save. This is a really, really good idea. You're gonna like this.
Mm-hmm. Get this. You'll love this. Yeah, exactly. I could see that. But yeah, -1, -2. Yeah, it's DM's discretion on that.
Who was that?
Corey.
Who was that? Corey has left the building, or
that
at least
would
the
be
camera.
The guy who always ratting on DM Kojo.
Oh yeah, FD.
Okay.
FD. Hey FD.
Yeah.
And again, duration, of course, 1 hour plus 1 hour per level, so you can have a sustained suggestion going on for quite a while. And this is where players really hate when the DM remembers time passing and the players don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's that.
Chaos. And then when they come out of it, they wonder why they're standing this way in this outfit.
You were so awesome. You opened every one of the doors for us. I know you're the mage. That's okay.
Why do I hurt so bad? What happened? Yeah.
Why am I wearing this tutu?
Exactly.
We told you that was the way out.
Why am I dressed like a hooker?
You were standing in the back. You weren't using the ring of protection. The guy in the front was. It was reasonable.
It was reasonable. Oh God, yeah. I shudder to think you playing a paladin in Hackmaster full on.
Oy.
Yeah, justification.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's time to close this splat book before we get in any more trouble.
Yeah,
for
before you get
Vince.
kicked out of there.
Yeah, so say goodbye, Falon.
Goodbye, Gamer Nation. Keep Glenn happy where he's at.
You couldn't put some more Vaseline on there, could you? Thanks. Say goodnight, Corey.
Good night, folks. Glad to be here. Hope we answered all your emails. And next show, I will be announcing the winners of the bookmark contest.
Awesome.
Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
we do have a
by the
bookmark
way,
contest. It's
Corey, starting with the next Splat book, we're going to be doing those shows that you came up with, which are all like esoteric questions that you've posed. the answers should be interesting. This is almost on a level of like brainstorm kind of questions. These are going to be good.
That's good.
We gotta adapt, man. We gotta move along with the times, or else we fall behind. Like
that's right.
Like we're, I don't know, like save or die or something.
Oh yeah, God. Anyway, say goodbye, Brian.
Good night, folks. Catch you next time when the hammer comes down, as always.
Yeah. Also, once again, I'd like to thank Ron Palamentary of Game HQ for hosting my segment here. Mm-hmm. And also Brian Doherty, who was also instrumental in that, for coming up the last minute. And I'm DM Glenn saying we'll catch you next time when the hammer comes down and THACO's hammer. Bye-bye. All right, we're done. Yeah, how about that? We are should I give
the camera actually shook when you did that.
Should I give you a command?
Glenn, I have a
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.